It starts with a vibration, a single, short buzz in your pocket. Or maybe it's a ding from your phone sitting on the desk next to a stack of papers you don't care about. You know exactly what that sound is. You've been waiting for it for 29 days. Your body knows the sound before your brain even registers it. You stop typing. You stop listening to the manager droning on about quarterly projections. You slide the phone out. You unlock the screen, and there it is, the notification. Your account ending in XXXXX has been credited with. And you see the number. Pause. Look at that moment. In that exact split second, a chemical wash floods your brain. It is a shot of dopamine so precise, so calculated, that it instantly numbs the pain of the last 4 weeks. The knot in your stomach loosens. The tightness in your shoulders drops an inch. You take a breath. You think, okay, I'm okay. I can pay rent. I can buy groceries. I can maybe go out for dinner on Friday. The resentment you felt 5 minutes ago, the anger at the commute, the frustration with the meaningless tasks, the exhaustion, it all fades into the background. It doesn't disappear, but it gets quiet. The money has done its job. The sedation has kicked in. But let's look at what actually just happened. You think you just got paid for your work. You think that transaction is a reward for your labor. You are wrong. That money is not a reward. That money is a bribe, and the purpose of that bribe is very specific. It is designed to make you forget. Think about the last month. Think about the mornings. The alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. It's dark outside. Your body is heavy. Every cell in your biology is screaming no. You want to sleep. You want to wake up slowly. You want to work on that project you've been talking about for 3 years. You want to build something that belongs to you, but you don't. You hit the button. You drag yourself into the shower. You put on the costume, the shirt, the slack, the uniform. You get in the car or on the train, surrounded by thousands of other people with the exact same dead look in their eyes. You sit in traffic, burning precious minutes of your life that you will never get back. Why do you do it? Why do you suffer through the boredom, the politics, the disrespect? You do it for the notification. You do it for the buzz in your pocket on the 30th. This is the mechanism of the trap. If the pain of the job was constant, you would leave. If they whipped you every day and gave you nothing, you would revolt. But they don't give you nothing. They give you the bribe. The salary is the anesthetic that makes the surgery bearable. They are surgically removing your dreams, day by day, hour by hour, and the salary is the morphine drip that keeps you from screaming while they do it. You have a dream. Or at least, you used to. Maybe you wanted to write. Maybe you wanted to start a business. Maybe you wanted to travel and photograph the world. Remember that version of you. The one who had fire in their belly. Where are they now? They are buried under a pile of pay stubs. Every time you accept that deposit, you are signing a silent contract. The contract says, I agree to forget who I wanted to be in exchange for safety. I agree to suspend my ambition in exchange for comfort. And the most dangerous part, the bribe is just big enough to keep you comfortable, but never big enough to set you free. That is the genius of the system. If they paid you enough to save real money, you might leave. You might build your own kingdom. So they calibrate the bribe perfectly. They pay you exactly enough to cover a mortgage, a car payment, and a subscription to Netflix, so you can zone out when you get home. They calculate the cost of your survival and add 10%, just enough to keep you addicted, just enough to keep you coming back. Your salary is a bribe to forget your dreams. And right now, it's working. You look at the bank balance. You feel a momentary surge of power. I have money. No. You have permission to survive for another 30 days. You have been granted a lease on your own life by a corporation that views you as a line item on a spreadsheet. A human resource. Think about that term. A resource. Like coal. Like oil. something to be used up, burned for energy to power their machine, and then discarded when it's empty. But you don't feel like a resource when the money hits, do you? You feel safe. And that safety is the most dangerous drug on the planet. Heroin kills you fast. The salary addiction kills you slowly. It kills you over 40 years. It kills you by convincing you that waiting is a strategy. I'll just work a few more years, you say. I'll save a bit more, then I'll chase my dream. Liar, you won't leave. Because next month, on the 30th, the phone will buzz again. The dopamine will hit again. The anesthetic will wash over you again. And you will forget again. You will forget that you were meant to be more than a cog. You will forget that you are trading your limited time on this earth, the only asset you actually own, for paper digits that depreciate every year. They are buying your silence. When you have a great idea for a product, but you're too tired after work to pursue it, that's the salary working. When you want to speak up against a bad policy, but stay quiet because you're afraid of losing your bonus, that's the bribe taking hold. When you look in the mirror and see grey hairs appearing, and you wonder where the last 5 years went, that is the receipt for the transaction. You sold those 5 years. You sold them for a bi-weekly deposit. And the terrifying question you need to ask yourself right now as you stare at that notification is this: was the price fair? Is your life worth that number on the screen? Because to them, that's all you are worth. Not a penny more. The vibration stops. The screen goes black. You put the phone back in your pocket. You look up at the fluorescent lights humming above you. The manager is still talking. The meeting is still going. And you sit there. You stay. You don't walk out. You don't quit. You take a breath. You pick up your pen and you go back to work. The bribe has been accepted. The dream has been postponed. Again. It starts creeping in around 4 p.m. on Sunday. The light outside changes. The shadows get a little longer. You're sitting on your couch, maybe watching a movie, maybe scrolling through your feed, but you're not really there anymore. A subtle frequency has shifted in the air. The weekend is dying, and the beast is waking up. You feel it in your stomach first. A cold, heavy stone drops into your gut. Your heart rate picks up just a fraction. It's the Sunday scaries. The dread. The pre-traumatic stress disorder of returning to the cage. You try to push it down. You tell yourself, I still have the whole evening. I can relax. But you can't, because your mind has already clocked in. You are already mentally commuting. You are already worrying about that email you didn't send on Friday. You are already armoring up for the battle you have to fight tomorrow morning. Pause. Look at this ratio. This is the math of your existence. You trade 5 days of your life for 2 days of freedom. But let's be honest about those 2 days. Are they really freedom? Or are they recovery? Saturday you wake up exhausted. Your body is still flooded with the cortisol of the work week. You sleep in, not because it feels luxurious, but because you are physically depleted. You spend the day running errands, buying the food to fuel you for the work week, washing the clothes you wear to the work week, cleaning the house you barely live in because you're at work all week. You aren't building your dream. You aren't writing that novel. You aren't coding that app. You are doing maintenance on the machine. You are changing the oil so the engine doesn't seize up on Monday. Then comes Sunday. The day of rest. No, the day of anticipation. The day of anxiety. You spend half of it dreading the next 5 days. So, out of 168 hours in a week, how many belong purely to you? How many hours are spent creating, exploring, or actually living? Maybe 4. Maybe 5. You are selling 95% of your life to buy 5% of relief. That is a bad trade. If you made that trade in the stock market, you would be bankrupt in a month. But you make it every single week with your life. And here is the insidious part. The exhaustion is part of the design. Have you ever wondered why you have no energy to work on your dreams after work? You get home at 6:30 p.m. You have hours before bed. Theoretically, you could build a business. You could learn a new skill. But you don't. You collapse. You turn on the TV. You order takeout because you're too tired to cook. You scroll until your eyes burn. You blame yourself. You think, I'm lazy, I lack discipline. I just need to motivate myself. Wrong. You are not lazy. You are sedated. The modern corporate structure is designed to extract maximum cognitive load. They don't just want your time, they want your mental bandwidth. They want you so drained by 5 p.m. that you are incapable of thinking about an escape plan. A tired worker is a compliant worker. A person who has the energy to think is a person who might realize they are being screwed. So they keep you in a state of perpetual low-level exhaustion. Just tired enough to not revolt, but awake enough to push the button. You are like a battery that is drained to 10% every single day, and the weekend only charges you back up to 60%. You never hit 100%. You never have the surplus energy required to launch a rocket. Gravity is too heavy when your battery is that low. This is why your salary is a bribe to forget. It buys you just enough comfort to make the exhaustion acceptable. If you were this tired and broke, you'd leave. But you're this tired, and you have a leased BMW in the driveway, so you stay. You accept the Sunday night terror as the cost of doing business, but look at what you're actually doing on those Sunday nights. You are mourning. You are grieving the loss of your own time. You are mourning the person you could be if you weren't chained to that desk. You look at the clock, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. The time is slipping away like sand. You try to grab it, to hold onto the last moments of autonomy, but you can't. The alarm is already set. The uniform is already laid out. You are a prisoner who is allowed to walk in the yard for 48 hours, and you've convinced yourself that the yard is the world. It's not. It's just a bigger cell. And what happens when you finally turn off the lights on Sunday night? You lie there in the dark. You stare at the ceiling. And the thoughts come, the whisper in the back of your head. Is this it? Is this all there is? Am I going to do this for another 30 years? That voice is your dream. It's the last surviving part of your ambition, scratching at the walls of your mind, trying to get out. It's begging you to stop trading your life for a paycheck. It's begging you to wake up. But then you remember the notification. You remember the deposit. You remember the fear of the unknown. So you roll over. You grab your phone. You check social media one last time to numb the voice. You force yourself to sleep, because tomorrow is Monday, and the machine needs its fuel. The machine needs you, and you have already cashed the check that obligates you to be there. Let's strip away the corporate speak. Let's strip away the total compensation package, the benefits, and the competitive market rate. Let's look at the naked, ugly truth of what a salary actually is. A salary is a subscription fee. Just like you subscribe to Netflix for entertainment, your employer subscribes to you for labor. They are renting your existence. They are leasing your brain, your hands, and your nervous system for 40 to 60 hours a week. And like any rental agreement, the moment the user decides the asset is no longer useful, they cancel the subscription. You are returned to the shelf. You are discarded. But here is the part that should make your skin crawl. You think you are being paid for your skills. You think you are being paid for your output. You are not. You are being paid for your compliance. The word salary comes from the Latin word salarium, money given to Roman soldiers to buy salt. It was a survival ration. It was the bare minimum required to keep the soldier alive so he could fight another day for the empire. Thousands of years later, nothing has changed. Your direct deposit is your salt ration. It is calculated, precisely calculated, to be just enough to keep you alive, housed, and fed, so you can show up tomorrow and fight for their empire. This is the gut-punch realization you need to swallow. You are building a castle you will never live in. Every email you send, every deal you close, every line of code you write, it is a brick in someone else's wall. You are the mason. You mix the mortar. You lay the stone. You break your back in the sun. And at 5 p.m. you wash your hands and you walk away. You own nothing. The castle belongs to the king. The equity belongs to the shareholders. The legacy belongs to the founder. What do you have? You have the salt. You have the bribe. And why is it a bribe? Why do I use that specific word? Because a bribe is money paid to someone to look the other way. A bribe is money paid to ensure silence. Your salary is hush money. It is paid to you so that you will stay silent about your own potential. It is paid to you so that you will look away from your own dreams. Think about the math. If you are paid $5,000 a month, your employer expects you to generate $15,000 or $20,000 in value. The difference, that massive gap between what you create and what you keep, is the price of your safety. You are essentially paying them to take the risk. You are accepting pennies on the dollar for your own output because you are terrified of the wild. You are a lion who has agreed to live in a zoo because the zookeeper guarantees a steak every evening at 6 p.m. Sure, you don't have to hunt, you don't have to starve, but you are in a cage. And the steak? That steak is the bribe to forget you are a predator. It's the bribe to forget you were born to run across the savannah, not pace back and forth in a 10x10 concrete enclosure. When you sign that employment contract, you are signing a non-compete clause with yourself. You are agreeing that for the duration of your employment, you will not compete for your own future. You will compete for the company's future. You will give your best hours, your sharpest ideas, and your highest energy to them. And whatever is left over, the scraps, the dregs, the exhaustion, you can keep that for yourself. This is why you feel that hollow ache in your chest when you see someone else succeed on their own terms. It's not jealousy. It's recognition. You recognize that they refused the bribe. You recognize that they chose the hunger over the cage. You look at your paycheck and you see income. I want you to look at it and see damages. That money is the settlement they pay you for the damage done to your time. It is the settlement for the lost years. It is the settlement for the book you didn't write, the business you didn't launch, the life you didn't lead. They are buying your silence. Every raise is just them turning up the volume on the white noise so you can't hear your soul screaming. Oh, you're starting to get restless. You're starting to remember your dream. Here, have a 3% cost of living adjustment, have a new title, have a senior prefix. And it works. You take the 3%, you feel valued for a moment, you go back to sleep, you forget the dream. That is the function of the salary. It is not to empower you, it is to placate you. It is the pacifier in the mouth of a crying baby. And right now, you are sucking on that pacifier, telling yourself it's nutrition. It's not. It's just plastic, and it's designed to shut you up. Realize this. You are selling the only thing you actually own, your time, at a wholesale discount so someone else can sell it at retail. You are the raw material. You are the lumber. They are the furniture makers. They cut you down, mill you, shape you, and sell you for a fortune. And you celebrate because they swept up the sawdust and let you keep it. Stop calling it a salary. Call it what it is. It is the fee you charge for the slow, methodical erasure of your dreams. You walk into the office with sweaty palms. It's that time of year. The performance review. The corporate confessional. You've spent the last 2 weeks agonizing over your self-evaluation, trying to find new ways to say, I did my job, using buzzwords like synergy, bandwidth, and deliverables. You sit across from your manager. They have a piece of paper. that paper holds the key to your happiness for the next 12 months. Or so you think. They smile. They tell you you're a rock star. They say you're a key asset. And then they slide the paper across the desk. A 4% raise. And a bonus that, after taxes, barely covers a weekend getaway. We really fought for you, they say. The budget was tight this year, but we wanted to make sure you were taken care of. And what do? Do you flip the table? Do you laugh in their face? No, you say, thank you. You feel a wave of relief. You feel grateful. You have just been played. You are the victim of one of the most well-documented psychological manipulation tactics in history. You are a rat in a Skinner box. Let me introduce you to B.F. Skinner. He was a psychologist who put rats in boxes with a lever. When the rat pressed the lever, a food pellet would drop. Skinner found something fascinating. If the lever always dropped food, the rat would press it only when hungry. If the lever never dropped food, the rat would stop pressing it entirely. But if the lever dropped food sometimes, if the rewards were random, if the rat didn't know if the next press would result in a pellet or nothing, the rat went insane. It would press the lever thousands of times an hour. It became obsessed. It became addicted. This is called intermittent reinforcement. And it is the exact psychological foundation of your career. Your employer knows that if they gave you a massive raise every single month, you would become complacent. You would save money. You would eventually have enough FU money to leave. Conversely, if they never gave you a raise, you would quit and go to a competitor, so they operate in the middle. They keep you in the maybe zone. Maybe this year I'll get the promotion. Maybe this quarter the bonus will be big. Maybe if I stay late tonight, they'll notice. You are pressing the lever. You are sending the emails at 9 p.m. Press. You are taking on the extra project without extra pay. Press. You are skipping your child's soccer game to finish the slide deck. Press. And every once in a while a pellet drops. A spot bonus. An Employee of the Month plaque made of cheap plastic. A generic good job email CC'd to the team. Your brain lights up. It's working. They see me. I just need to press the lever harder. You are not working for the money anymore. You are working for the dopamine hit of the unpredictable reward. You are gambling with your time. The modern office is not a workplace. It is a casino. And you are sitting at the slot machine, pulling the handle, feeding it hours of your life, hoping for a jackpot that is mathematically designed never to pay out. Look at the perks they give you. The free coffee. The ping-pong table. The pizza party on Friday. These are not benefits. These are shiny objects designed to distract you from the fact that you are underpaid and overworked. They treat you like a toddler. If you finish your spreadsheet, you can have a slice of pepperoni. It is infantilizing. It is insulting, but you eat the pizza. You drink the cheap coffee. And you feel a weird sense of loyalty. They treat us well here, you say, do they? Or do they just know exactly how much cheese it takes to keep the mouse in the maze? The bonus structure is the ultimate gaslight. They dangle a carrot in front of your face, a target, a KPI, a revenue goal. Hit this number, they say, and you'll get the prize. So you run, you sprint, you burn yourself out, you hit the number, you get the prize, and then what happens immediately? They move the carrot. Great year. Next year, the target is 20% higher. You never actually catch the carrot. You just run faster and faster until you collapse. The goalposts are on wheels. The game is rigged so that you can never actually win. You can only keep playing. And why do you keep playing? Because of the sunk cost. I've already put in 5 years, you think. I'm next in line for the VP spot. I can't leave now. That is the trap snapping shut. They have hooked you on the potential of a future reward rather than the reality of your present suffering. You are trading your actual life for a lottery ticket. You are hoping that one day the loyalty will pay off. But let me tell you the uncomfortable truth about corporate loyalty. It is a one-way street. To you, the company is your life. To the company, you are a line of code in the payroll software. If you died at your desk tomorrow, they would send flowers to your family, and by next Tuesday, your job would be posted on LinkedIn. The rat is replaceable. The lever must be pressed. Stop waiting for the pellet. Stop dancing for the crumbs. Realize that the Skinner box has no door, but it also has no lock. You are staying because you are addicted to the game. You are staying because you have been conditioned to believe that the next press of the lever will be the one that finally makes you happy. It won't. It will just be another pellet, and you will still be a rat in a box. The CEO steps up to the microphone. The lights dim. The PowerPoint slide behind them glows with a stock photo of smiling, diverse people high-fiving. The room goes quiet. They look out at the crowd, at you with moist, earnest eyes. They lower their voice to a hush. We aren't just a company, they say. We are a family. And the room erupts. Applause, nods of agreement. You clap too. You feel a warm, fuzzy sensation in your chest. You feel like you belong. You feel safe. Stop. You have just been subjected to the single most toxic psychological manipulation in the modern workplace. The "we are family" narrative is not a heartwarming sentiment. It is a calculated gaslight designed to erode your boundaries and extract unpaid emotional labor. Let's dismantle this lie. A family is a biological or chosen bond of unconditional love. If you get cancer, your family takes care of you. If you make a mistake, your family forgives you. If you become less productive because you are grieving or sick or aging, your family does not discard you. Now look at your corporate family. If you stop performing, what happens? If your output drops by 15% for 2 quarters, do they hug you? No, they put you on a performance improvement plan. That is the corporate equivalent of a distinct threat. It means shape up or get out. If the company misses its revenue targets, does the family tighten its belt together? No. The parents, the executives, keep their bonuses and they fire the children, you, to balance the books. They call it restructuring. They call it right-sizing. Imagine a father firing his son because the household grocery bill was too high. That is the reality of your corporate family. But why do they use this word? Why insist on family instead of team or business? Because family bypasses your logic and hacks your biology. You are a tribal animal. For thousands of years, being kicked out of the tribe meant death. You are hardwired to crave belonging. You are hardwired to sacrifice for the good of the group. When they call it a family, they are weaponizing that instinct. They are hacking your loyalty. This is how they get you to work late without overtime pay. The family needs you, they imply. You don't want to let the team down, do you? If it were just a business transaction, you would say, "My contract is for 9 to 5. It is 5:01. I am leaving. If you want more hours, pay me more money." That is a clean, honest trade, but you can't say that to family. If you say that to family, you are selfish. You are a traitor. You are not a culture fit. So you stay. You cancel your dinner plans. You miss the gym. You work until 9 p.m., eating cold takeout at your desk, feeling a perverse sense of martyrdom. You are suffering for the tribe. And what do you get in return? Do you get equity? Do you get love? No, you get a pat on the head and a "thanks, champ." The family narrative is a unilateral contract. You are expected to give the loyalty of a blood relative, but they are allowed to treat you with the cold detachment of a mercenary. Look at how they treat people who leave. This is the ultimate proof. In a real family, if you move out to pursue a new opportunity, your parents are proud. They visit. They celebrate you. In a corporate family, when you hand in your resignation, you become a pariah. The mood shifts instantly. The smiles vanish. They treat you like you have committed a betrayal. They stop inviting you to meetings. They cut off your access. The work bestie you ate lunch with every day for 3 years suddenly stops texting you because they don't want to be seen associating with the traitor. You are dead to them because you were never a family member. You were a battery. And now that you have unplugged yourself, you are useless to the machine. This manipulation makes you vulnerable to abuse. It makes you tolerate toxic managers because that's just how Uncle Steve is. It makes you afraid to negotiate for a higher salary because families don't talk about money. It keeps you docile. It keeps you compliant. We need to rewrite the dictionary. Your job is not your family. Your job is a sports team. A sports team pays you to perform. If you win, you get paid. If you stop performing, you get cut. It is transactional. It is professional, and that is fine. There is dignity in a clear transaction. I give you labor, you give me money. But the moment they try to wrap that transaction in the language of love and kinship, reach for your wallet, because they are about to rob you. They are trying to pay you in culture instead of cash. They are trying to substitute belonging for bonuses. Don't fall for it. Love your actual family. Love your partner. Love your kids. Love your friends. But view your employer with cold, hard detachment. They are a client. You are a vendor. Serve the client well, take their money, and go home. Because the day they decide you are too expensive, they will call security to escort you out of the building. And they won't even let you finish your coffee. Some family. Let's talk about the economics of your existence. Let's look at the price tag on your life. You think you are being paid a market rate. You think your salary is a fair reflection of the value you provide. You are wrong. If your salary reflected the value you created, the company would make zero profit. The fundamental business model of every corporation on earth is this: buy labor at wholesale, sell the output at retail. You are the wholesaler. You are the farmer selling your potatoes for pennies. The company is the supermarket selling those potatoes as organic artisan crisps for $10 a bag. The gap between what they pay you and what they sell your work for is their profit. That gap must exist. It is the oxygen of the corporation. This means, by definition, you are always paid less than you are worth. If you generate $200,000 of value, they cannot pay you $200,000. They might pay you $80,000. The other $120,000 is the tax you pay for the privilege of having a job. But the problem isn't just the money. The problem is the scaling. When you sell your time, you are capped. There are only 24 hours in a day. You can only sell a limited amount of inventory. You can never scale. You can never get rich selling your time because you run out of time to sell. The company, however, is not capped. The company can sell your code, your designs, or your strategy to 1 million customers. They write the software once, using your time, and sell it 1 billion times. This is the difference between linear income and exponential income. You are trapped in linear math. Hours times hourly rate equals income. They are operating in exponential math. Product times unlimited customers equals wealth. This is why the CEO makes 300 times what you make. Not because they work 300 times harder. Not because they are 300 times smarter. But because they are sitting on the exponential side of the equation, and you are sitting on the linear side, and they need you to stay there. They need you to believe that trading time for money is the only safe way to live. They call it security. Job security. But let's look at this so-called security. You have one client, your employer. If that one client fires you, your income goes to zero instantly. That is not security. That is extreme fragility. That is financial suicide. A freelancer with 10 clients is more secure than you. If they lose one client, they lose 10% of their income. If you lose your job, you lose 100%. You are putting all your eggs in one basket, and you are handing that basket to a sociopathic entity that cares only about its stock price. And what are you doing with the money you do get? You are likely trading it right back into the system. You are buying products made by other corporations who are underpaying their staff. The cycle feeds itself, but here is the deepest cut. They are buying your prime years. They are not buying the end of your life. They are buying the middle. They are buying the years when you have the most energy, the most creativity, and the most drive. They take the juice and leave you with the rind. By the time you retire, if you ever do, you are given back your time. But what is that time worth then? Your body is tired. Your mind is slower. Your adventurous spirit has been eroded by 40 years of compliance. They bought the Ferrari engine and gave you back a rusted chassis, and you said, "Thank you." You need to understand that wealth is not money. Wealth is time. Wealth is freedom. Wealth is waking up in the morning and saying, "What do I want to do today?" And actually doing it. When you sell your time for a salary, you are not building wealth. You are liquidating your life. You are selling off your assets, your days, for cash flow. That is a desperation move. That is what bankrupt companies do before they collapse. You are running a liquidation sale of your own existence. Everything must go, Monday through Friday, 50% off, and the company is buying it up, laughing all the way to the bank. They want you to think that the alternative, starting a business, freelancing, investing, is risky. They paint the world outside the cubicle as a dangerous wasteland. "You'll starve," they whisper. "You won't have health insurance, you'll fail." But what is the risk of staying? The risk of staying is guaranteed mediocrity. The risk of staying is looking back at 80 years old and realizing you spent your entire life building someone else's dream while yours rotted in the basement. That is not a risk. That is a tragedy. The wholesale purchase of your time is the greatest heist of the modern age. They have convinced the sheep to shear themselves and hand over the wool with a smile. Stop selling wholesale. Stop being the raw material. You are the product. You are the factory. You are the business. The moment you realize that your time is a finite, non-renewable resource is the moment you stop giving it away for a discount. Your price just went up. We value creativity. We want disruptors. We want you to bring your whole self to work. You heard that in the interview, didn't you? It sounded great. It sounded like they wanted you. They lied. They don't want you. They want the function you perform. They want the output, but they want it delivered in a package that looks, sounds, and acts exactly like everyone else. The moment you walk through those glass doors on day one, the process of onboarding begins. Onboarding is a polite corporate euphemism. The accurate term is formatting. Think about a hard drive. When you buy a new one, you have to format it. You have to wipe it clean, set up the file structure, and prepare it to accept data in a specific language. That is what they do to your brain. They strip away your edges. They sand down your quirks. They install the company OS. You have a dream. That's messy. Dreams are chaotic. Dreams are unpredictable. Dreams distract you from the quarterly goals, so the system is designed to suppress the dreamer and amplify the drone. It starts with the language. Have you noticed how you talk at work? Let's circle back. I don't have the bandwidth. Let's take this offline. Per my last email. Do you talk like that at home? Do you say to your spouse, "I'd like to leverage our synergies to optimize dinner tonight"? No, because that is the language of a robot, but you speak it fluently now. You have adopted the corporate voice. It is a sterilized, emotionless dialect designed to remove all humanity from human interaction. Every time you use it, a little piece of your real personality dies. You are code-switching your soul away. You stifle your real laugh and replace it with a polite chuckle. You hide your tattoos. You stop talking about your weird hobbies because they don't fit the culture. You become a professional. And let's look at that word, professional. What does it actually mean in this context? It doesn't mean competent. It doesn't mean skilled. It means compliant. It means standardized. To be professional is to be interchangeable. The corporation is a machine. A machine requires standard parts. If a gear has a unique shape, it jams the mechanism. You are that gear. Your dreams, your passions, your erratic bursts of creativity, those are the unique shapes. They are defects. They cause friction. And the machine hates friction, so they grind you down. It's subtle. It's the manager who says, "Hey, let's tone down the enthusiasm in the client meeting, stick to the script." It's the HR rep who suggests your attire is a bit too loud. It's the silent pressure to agree with the boss even when you know they are wrong. Day by day, the grinding wheel spins. It smooths out your corners. It polishes you into a perfect, round, frictionless cog. And the tragedy, you let them do it. You help them do it. Why? Because it's safer. Standing out is dangerous. Being unique puts a target on your back. If you are the nail that sticks out, you get hammered. So you learn to blend in. You learn to be the grey wall. You learn to be the average. But here is the price you pay for that camouflage. You start to forget who you are when you take the mask off. You come home after 10 hours of pretending to be a senior analyst, and you find that you can't switch it off. The mask has fused to your face. You don't have the mental energy to paint or write or build because you spent all your energy suppressing your natural state. You have become boring. Look at your friends from work. When you go out for drinks, what do you talk about? You talk about work. You complain about the boss. You gossip about the intern. You discuss the system. You don't talk about the universe. You don't talk about art. You don't talk about the burning desire to change the world. Those topics feel weird now. They feel childish. You have been successfully standardized. You have accepted the grey. Your salary is the bribe you accept to undergo this lobotomy. They pay you to be a version of yourself that you hate. They pay you to sit in a meeting for 2 hours, listening to a presentation that could have been an email, and nod your head like a bobblehead doll. Yes, great point. Agreed. Inside, you are screaming. Inside, you are dying of boredom. But on the outside, you are the perfect employee, and the longer you stay, the harder it gets to leave. Not because of the money, but because of the atrophy. Your unique self-muscle hasn't been exercised in years. It has withered away. You start to doubt if you even have a dream anymore. You start to think, maybe I am just a project manager. Maybe this is all I'm good at. That is the final victory of the system. They haven't just rented your time, they have rewritten your identity. They have convinced you that the cog is the whole machine. You look in the mirror. You see the haircut, the shirt, the tired eyes. You see the standard unit of labor. Where did you go? You are buried under the sops. You are crushed under the compliance training. You are hiding behind the quarterly review. Your salary is a bribe to keep you in the mold. Because if you ever remembered how powerful, how creative, and how dangerous you really are, you would shatter their machine into a million pieces. Let's talk about the trap that makes you the jailer of your own prison. The trap is shiny. It has leather seats. It has a logo on the handbag. It has a zip code that impresses your in-laws. It is called lifestyle creep. But the more accurate term is the golden handcuffs. Here is how the handcuffs are forged. You get your first job. You make, say, $50,000. You live in a shared apartment. You drive an old car. You eat pasta. You are happy enough, but you want more. Then you get the promotion. You make $80,000. Do you save the difference? Do you buy your freedom? No. You move into a one-bedroom apartment. You lease a nicer car. You start buying $15 cocktails. You spend exactly $80,000. Then you get the big break. $150,000. Now you need the house. You need the Audi. You need the vacations to chill 'em to post on Instagram. You need the private school for the kids because everyone else is doing it. You are making 3 times what you used to, but you are exactly as broke as you were 10 years ago. Actually, you are worse than broke. You are leveraged. You have built a lifestyle that requires 100% of your current income to sustain. You have created a monthly burn rate that is so high, the mere thought of losing your job sends you into a panic attack. This is not an accident. This is the design. The system encourages you to spend. The ads, the culture, the peer pressure, it all screams upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. Why? Because a worker with high expenses is an obedient worker. If you lived on 30% of your income and saved the rest, you would be dangerous. You would have fuck you money. You could walk into your boss's office and say, I don't like how you spoke to me, I quit. But you can't say that. You have a mortgage, you have a car note. You have credit card debt from that Christmas trip. You are handcuffed. The handcuffs are made of gold, but they are still handcuffs. The corporation loves this. They love it when you buy a house you can barely afford. They love it when you finance a luxury car. It means they own you. It means you will swallow your pride, you will work the weekend, you will tolerate the abuse because you cannot miss a payment. You have voluntarily increased your vulnerability. You have handed them the whip and bent over. Hit me, you say. Just don't take away my heated seats. Think about the absurdity of this. You work a job you hate to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. That is the definition of insanity. But it is the standard operating procedure of the modern employee. You are buying anesthesia. The shopping, the toys, the upgrades, they are attempts to fill the hole in your soul where your purpose used to be. You feel empty because you aren't pursuing your dream, so you try to fill the void with consumer goods. If I just get the new iPhone, I'll feel better. If I just get the Tesla, I'll feel successful. You get the Tesla. You feel successful for about 3 weeks. Then the new car smell fades. The dopamine hit wears off, and you are left with a $900 monthly payment and the same empty feeling. So you look for the next thing to buy. The cycle repeats. The debt grows. The dependence on the salary deepens. Your salary is not funding your life. It is funding your cage. Every luxury item you buy on credit adds another bar to the cell window. Every upgrade tightens the shackle around your ankle. And the cruelest part, you don't even enjoy the stuff. How can you enjoy the big house when you spend 60 hours a week at the office and the other 40 hours sleeping or stressed? You are paying for a museum that you visit on weekends. You are paying for a luxury car that spends most of its life stuck in gridlock traffic, driven by a person who is grinding their teeth in frustration. You are a slave to your own standard of living, and you are teaching your children to be slaves too. You are modeling the behavior. Look, kids. This is success. Success is having nice things and being miserable to pay for them. Stop. Look at the handcuffs. Really look at them. They are not locked. You have the key. The key is to stop caring about what the neighbors think. The key is to downsize. The key is to realize that freedom tastes better than a steak dinner. If you cut your expenses in half, you double your freedom. If you don't need the money, they can't control you. The moment you realize you can be happy in a small apartment, driving an old Honda, wearing a t-shirt, you become invincible. You become terrifying to the system because you can no longer be bribed. Keep your bonus, you can say. I'm going home to write my book. But until you make that choice, you are just a well-dressed prisoner. You are a hamster running on a wheel made of diamonds. It's sparkling, it's beautiful, but you're still just running in circles. Your salary is the fuel for a lifestyle that keeps you trapped. The more you make, the tighter the grip. It's a trap. A beautiful, golden, deadly trap, and you walked right into it. We have spent a lot of time talking about them. The corporation, the boss, the system, the family. We have painted them as the villains, the jailers, the manipulators, and they are. But now, I need you to do something very difficult. I need you to stop looking at the screen. I need you to find a mirror, and I need you to look at the person staring back at you, because here is the truth that hurts more than any corporate policy. You are not a slave. You are a volunteer. The door to the cage is not locked. It never was. You can stand up right now. You can walk into that office tomorrow and resign. You can sell the car. You can move to a smaller house. You can start the business. You can paint the canvas. But you don't. Why? It is not because of the mortgage. It is not because of the kids. It is not because of the economy. Those are excuses. Those are shields you hold up to protect yourself from the terrifying reality. The reality is that you are afraid. You are terrified of your own freedom. You are terrified of your own potential. Because as long as you have a job, you have an excuse. If you don't write your novel, you can say, I'm just too busy with work. If you don't launch your startup, you can say, the corporate world drains all my energy. The job gives you a villain. It gives you something to blame for your lack of fulfillment. It allows you to play the victim. Look at me, you say to your friends over drinks. Look how hard I work. Look how tired I am. Poor me. But if you quit, if you took away the excuse, then you would be naked. You would be standing in front of the blank canvas with no one to blame but yourself. If you failed then, it would be your failure. If you were lazy then, it would be your laziness. That is terrifying. That is the abyss. So you choose the cage. You choose the salary, because the salary buys you the right to hide from your own greatness. It buys you the right to be mediocre without feeling guilty. I'm doing what I have to do to survive, you tell yourself. Liar. You are doing what you have to do to avoid the risk of thriving. You are complicit in your own exploitation. Every morning you wake up and don't quit. You are casting a vote. You are voting for safety over significance. You are voting for comfort over calling. You complain about the golden handcuffs, but you are the one polishing them. You complain about the Sunday scaries, but you are the one setting the alarm for Monday. You love the complaint. The complaint is your security blanket. It feels good to bitch about the boss. It bonds you with your coworkers. It gives you an identity. The long-suffering employee. Who would you be without that struggle? Who would you be if you actually had the time and the freedom to be yourself? Maybe you're afraid you're not actually that talented. Maybe you're afraid you'd try and fail. Maybe you're afraid you'd succeed and wouldn't know how to handle the power. So you take the bribe, you take the paycheck to keep those questions silent. But I want you to look at the future you are building. Fast forward, you are 65. They give you the cake. They give you the watch. They walk you to the door, you go home. It's over, you are free, but you are old. The fire is gone. You look back at the last 40 years. What do you see? Do you see a legacy? Do you see a body of work that screams, I was here? Or do you see a blur of meetings, spreadsheets, and commutes? Do you see 40 years of yes, sir, and right away, ma'am, you are going to die one day? That is the only guarantee in life. When you are on your deathbed, the salary will be gone. The 401k will be irrelevant. The only thing that will matter is the question, did I live? And if the answer is no, I worked, the tragedy will be absolute, and it will be your fault. You are the only person who can save you. No headhunter is coming to rescue you. No mentor is going to discover you. The system is designed to keep you exactly where you are. You have to break your own heart to fix your life. You have to admit that you have been a coward. You have to admit that you sold your soul for a steady direct deposit. That realization burns. It should burn. Let it burn, because that burning is the only thing that can fuel your escape. Anger is better than apathy. Regret is better than numbness. Stop blaming the company for buying your dreams. Blame yourself for selling them. You set the price. You sign the deal, and only you can tear it up. Here is the end. You are standing at a fork in the road, and unlike the corporate roadmaps you are used to, there is no option C. There is no circle back later. There is only a binary choice. And you have to make it right now. Option A. You accept the bribe. You close this video. You go to sleep. You wake up tomorrow, you drink the coffee, you put on the shirt, and you go to work. You push the feeling of emptiness down into your stomach, and you cover it with food or alcohol or Netflix. You tell yourself, I'll do it next year. Next year becomes next decade. You get the promotion. You get the bigger office with the better view of the parking lot. You buy the nicer car. You take the 2 weeks of vacation per year. And then one day you stop waiting. You stop dreaming. The part of you that wanted to be an artist, an entrepreneur, a creator, it quietly suffocates. It dies of neglect. You become the perfect employee. You become the mask. And then you die. That's it. That's the safe path. It is a slow, comfortable suicide. It is a tragedy with excellent health benefits. Option B. You reject the bribe. You decide right now that your life is not for sale. You decide that your dreams are not childish fantasies, but mandates from your soul. You decide to face the chaos. This path is terrifying. I will not lie to you. If you choose this, you will be scared. You might be broke for a while. You will be misunderstood. Your family will worry. Your friends will think you are having a crisis. You will stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m. wondering if you made a mistake, but you will be alive. For the first time in years, you will be the captain of your own ship. You will wake up in the morning with a fire in your belly, not a stone. You will work harder than you ever worked for the boss, but you won't be tired because you are building your own pyramid, not theirs. So how do you do it? Do you walk out tomorrow with no plan? No, that is foolishness. You are a strategist now. Step 1, calculate your freedom number. Stop calculating how much you need to be rich. Calculate how much you need to be free. What is the bare minimum you need to survive for 6 months? Rent, ramen, internet. That is your number. It is likely much lower than you think. Step 2, the escape fund. Every dollar you spend from today on is a vote. Do not buy the coffee. Do not buy the clothes. Do not upgrade the phone. Every dollar you save is a minute of freedom you are buying back from the corporation. You are not saving money. You are purchasing your own emancipation. Step 3, the moonlight. From 9 to 5, you are theirs. But from 5 to 9 and on weekends, you are yours. Stop watching TV. Stop scrolling. Build the prototype. Write the pages. Get the first client. Prove the concept. You have to build the life raft while you are still on the sinking ship. Step 4, the letter. Write it now. You don't have to send it yet, but write it. I hereby resign. Look at those words. Feel the power in them. That document is your Declaration of Independence. Put a date on it, not someday. A specific date on the calendar. 6 months from today. 1 year from today. Make it real. You are a lion raised in captivity. The door has been left open. You see the savannah out there. It looks dangerous. There are storms. There are predators. There is no guaranteed meal at 6 p.m., but it is where you belong. The salary is a bribe to make you forget who you are. It is a bribe to make you forget that you are capable of greatness. It is a bribe to keep you small, manageable, and profitable. They are betting that you are too cowardly to leave. They are betting that you value comfort more than you value your soul. Are they right? Look at your hands. They are the only hands that can build your future. Look at your mind. It is the only tool you need. The deposit will hit your account in a few weeks. The notification will buzz. The dopamine will try to seduce you one last time. Do not let it. Take the money. Use it to buy your freedom. And then, when you are ready, when the raft is built, when the fear is high but the resolve is higher, walk into that office. Hand them the letter. Look them in the eye and walk out into the wild. The bribe is rejected. The dream is awake. Now, get to work.